Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to MYC Uncensored's Women in STEM podcast series. Today I'm joined by Tania Nallathamby, a very knowledgeable woman in STEM invested in science communication, laboratory management, and health policy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, amazing. So, first question, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your occupation is, and what some of your contributions, you would say your contributions are to a very male-dominated field.
Yeah, of course. I currently work as a senior project officer at a university here in Melbourne, Victoria, and I work as Women in STEM. So, what that role essentially means is that we try and get as many women and gender diverse folk who are studying STEM to stay in STEM. So, we'd like to provide as many opportunities as we can for them. Um, well, we do this through a number of ways, actually. We try to create, first and foremost, a community of STEM females and gender diverse folks. So we try and organize curated lunchtime seminars for them. We try and organize industry experiences, site tours, um, and we also get them to help us to provide outreach to prospective students, so to high
Mm.
school students, really encouraging STEM even at secondary school. We provide them with training and tools that they need to communicate, workshops, to connect with people, to
Mm.
lead, for example. So, yeah, so these are all sorts of little initiatives that we kind of run to really try and encourage current females and gender diverse studying STEM to keep them on that track and even beyond university when they get to industry for them to actually stay in industries because quite often women will get into industry, but there are many industries where they don't stay in that field. So, what are the barriers, and how can we remove those, and how can we
Mm.
enable that process to be better for them? So that's my current role, which I'm really loving. I've been in that role for about 6 months, but I started off my career, Annika, as a scientist working in virology. So, in Victoria, when we first started testing blood donations for viruses
Mhm.
like HIV, HTLV1, hepatitis B, hepatitis C. I was among those first scientists who routinely started testing blood donations
Oh,
for
wow.
those transmissible diseases. Yeah, so that was my first contribution to STEM, if you like. And since that time, I've always stayed in the S in STEM, so in science. I've
Mhm.
kind of evolved, done further study, and kind of moved through different decades of my career doing different things, but I suppose the common thread has always been STEM because that's something that I've always been interested in and really enjoyed. So
Wow.
that's kind of like a little nutshell, if you will.
Wow, that's really impressive. And I think the initiative is quite interesting as well. Um,
Mm,
so I think you started to touch on this briefly, but my next question
yeah.
is, what would you say your story was to finding your passion for STEM and ultimately choosing your chosen career path?
I think I have to credit that to my father. So my father was a doctor in tropical medicine, specializing in tropical medicine, malaria to be
Mm.
specific.
Okay.
And him and my mum loved to travel as well. So as children, we were always moving around. So I was born in Sri Lanka,
Mhm.
but lived a lot of my life outside Sri Lanka. So we lived in Zambia, which is in Africa, for a
Oh,
long
wow.
time, where my father was practicing tropical medicine. And then we also lived in Papua New Guinea for a long time as well. So I suppose he was that figure in my life that I looked up to, and I I always thought I wanted to be a doctor.
Mhm.
Didn't really have any other career aspirations, other than I think for a short while I really wanted to be an air steward for some reason. That seemed quite interesting, exciting to me. But beyond that, science has always been sort of my interest, I guess. So um, it was really a no-brainer when I got into when I finished school. So my story is that we migrated here when I was in year 12. So
Okay.
straight went into year 12 and then kind of with the intention of studying medicine, but because it was also new to me, didn't quite get the marks to get there, so ended up doing a Bachelor of Applied Science, and that's kind of how I started my STEM journey.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's quite unique. Really cool.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of your chosen career,
Mm.
what would you say some struggles that you faced as a woman within that career have been? And how would you say you kind of got past it and kind of saw the bigger aim rather than being stuck on those struggles or issues that you faced?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I guess if I look back on my life when I first started, um, nobody really looked like me, you know.
Mhm.
Now university life looks very different. There are multiple intersectionalities. But when I first started university, I was a first generation migrant. I'm a woman of color,
Mhm.
and not too many people look like me. So how that actually felt like after I left university as well had an impact because I didn't see women who looked like me in leadership positions at that time.
Mm, mm,
So I guess as a result of that, I really didn't have any professional mentors, no one that I
yeah.
could kind of go to for advice or someone who could actually coach me in
Mm,
my career. So I think that was one of them. So being a woman of color, first generation migrant in an environment where not too many people look like me meant that not only was I having to um, focus on my course, but also I guess focus on some of the other stuff like assimilation, fitting in, um, couldn't fully be yourself, I guess, in a way, and
mm,
focus 100% on my studies.
yeah.
Yeah, so that I think and a lack of professional mentors would be probably two of the top two challenges I can think of.
Yeah,
And I guess, but
absolutely.
also the second part of your question, you said, how did I not stay stuck in that?
Yeah.
And think that is also just because that comes with being a migrant, to be quite
Mm,
honest, I think, because when you come into this country, or any country as a migrant, there's always um, that thing that you always have to strive because your
mhm,
parents made these sacrifices to bring you here. So um, there really wasn't an option for me, or neither did I ever feel like I could stay in that. There was always this sort of feeling that of striving to do more, not being
mhm.
stuck to value the sacrifices my parents made in bringing me here. So
Yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
was yeah, my
Wow, yeah.
motivation.
Definitely. And I think as well, like having grit and passion can get you through past a lot of struggles. So yeah. Um, in terms of your career, what would you say the most exciting parts of the job are and some considerations or I guess not as exciting parts of the job, that if someone was interested in going into this chosen career path, they should probably consider because obviously sometimes we can get caught up in the like flashy best parts of the job, but we don't
Mm.
consider what the more tedious, I guess, or not as exciting parts are.
Yeah, that's true. And any job's like that, right? Any job's
Mhm.
going to have those exciting bits and then the more mundane bits that you don't really want to do, but
Mhm.
just come as part of your role. But I mean, the good thing about that is that I guess you develop the reason why you're probably not interested in them as much is probably because you don't have that much experience in them maybe, or you don't like them for some reason. So the fact that you have to do them is a good thing because it actually gives you experience
Mhm.
in that. But some of the fun things that I used to really enjoy in my role when I first started, and even now, is the hands-on aspect of my role.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, as you progress in your career, a lot of it becomes administrative. So you're in front of your computer, you're leading teams. It becomes less about the technical aspect of the role.
Mhm.
But that's something that I always found exciting, the technical aspect of the role. So doing the bench work, doing the testing, and even now, actually, my last three roles, including my current one, I actually do have to run workshops, run experiments, develop new content for new workshops. So that technical aspect of my role still excites me. And I think the the mundane bits, I can't really think of some things that I consider mundane
Mm.
in my current role, Annika. Um, I think it's just part and parcel, and it's just life, isn't it? There are some things that you really enjoy and some things you
Hmm.
just do. So I think I don't actually, I couldn't tell you what I thought was mundane about my role.
That's actually really good though.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sometimes
But
it's also perceptions, honestly. Sometimes I think it's
yeah.
perception as well. It's how
Mm.
you kind of look at it. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I think having a growth mindset as well is really important.
absolutely.
Which I'm sure most people know, but I think it's easier said than done having one.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's definitely a good thing though, that you can't think of a mundane thing. Um,
Mm.
Final question. If you could speak to younger women or younger females who are not sure if they want to go into STEM or are just not confident enough, what would you say
Yeah.
to them, or what advice would you give them?
What I would say is seek out other women who are who are in the field of STEM and who are excelling. I
Mm,
mean, having said that, they don't necessarily have to be in the field of STEM. Seek out other women who are excelling in their roles, in their jobs. Okay, they're taking chances. They're pushing boundaries. They're not accepting status quo. They're the women on whose shoulders you can stand on. So
mhm,
I think that's the first thing is they don't have to be in STEM, but seek out those women because then it actually normalizes it for you. Your outlook changes. You won't
mhm.
feel like an outsider or an interloper. You're actually going to value your contributions because you see other women doing the same thing. And
Yeah,
actually, when I look on at my professional and personal life now, I have a few, actually lots of women who are doing just that. And I think if you surround yourselves with women who are doing that, you're going to grow from that.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's probably the first thing I would say is seek that out. The second thing I would say is um, challenge, and everyone's ideas on this will be different, but challenge what your idea on what success looks like. Um, as women, we are different to men, different physiologically, obviously, but different in how we think, different in how we lead, different in how we influence. So we don't need to be, like another male, for example. We can't ever be like a male because we're
Hmm.
female, and
Yeah.
and that's intrinsically different. So what does success look like to you? And follow a path that aligns with that.
Hmm.
Also, be brave. Don't be afraid to stand out. And that actually comes, I think, with life experience. And it does become easier, but don't be afraid to stand out and ask yourself, who's missing out if I'm not standing out?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, we're all individual. We all bring our own individual qualities to any role we do. Uh, don't don't let anyone talk over you if you got something to say, for example. Make sure you have your voice heard because it's important not just for you but for people around you as well.
absolutely.
What else can I say about that? And also, you know what, Annika, take your opportunities. You don't know where an opportunity will take you.
Mm.
Um, I sometimes think about that the studies that show, you might have heard this before as well, that men will apply for jobs if they fulfill 60% of the key selection criteria. Have you heard that?
No, I actually haven't.
Yeah, so studies show that if they go for jobs, they will, they will go for jobs where they fulfill 60%, whereas women won't go until they feel like they can fulfill about 100% of that
Oh,
role.
wow. Okay.
Yes. So maybe that's because we're playing catch up, but back yourself. That's what I would
Mm.
say. There's that, and as that's something that becomes easier as with life experience. But don't wait until you're 100% there. Don't wait until you have more experience. Don't wait until a future time. Take that. take the opportunity when it comes,
Mm.
because you don't know who's going to be in that room and who you're going to connect with. So look for your opportunities and make an effort to take them.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That was like definitely some words I also needed to hear.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to add to the interview, just before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think there are so many tools out there, Annika, for women in
Hmm.
STEM right now.
Hmm.
And so I'd like to draw your listeners to this WGEA. So WGEA is an acronym that stands for Workplace Gender Equality Agency. And it's a Commonwealth agency, and it requires both the public and the private sectors with over about 100 employees, I think, to report against different gender equality indicators.
Hmm.
And one of those indicators includes the gender pay gap.
Hmm.
So if you're looking for a job, go onto their website, pick the industry that you want to get in, and have a look at all those indicators that that company has to report against and what the gender pay gap is. So currently in the private sector, the gender pay gap is nearly 22%. All right, so that means for every dollar that, on average, that a man makes, a woman
Hmm.
earns 78 cents. So
Hmm.
if you kind of extrapolate that for the course of the year, 1 year, that difference can add up to $28,000 a year. Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
there are these tools out there. Do your research, use the tools to help you, because things are changing. And that's actually a really good resource for women in STEM.
Mhm.
Um, the other some things that we don't think about as well are, like, financial well-being for women as well. How are we going to save? How are we going to invest our money? So again, lots of tools out there. I think the tax office has some great tools, great podcasts, great websites to help you. So right now there's so much more tools available to women in STEM than if there were 10, 15, 20 years ago. So use those tools, because they will help you.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Um,
That's right.
if there's nothing else, I will send you the link to the podcast once it's uploaded. And if there's any
Yeah.
questions you have of me before, just let me know, on LinkedIn or email. But thank you so much for your time. And I hope you have a good day.
Thank you